Hi Ari, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
When you say it's better to redeem miles for partner flights, what exactly do you mean? Why is that beneficial?
Well, it's actually a huge benefit. Each individual airline sets their own rules for how many miles they want to charge. So they can have things called high season, and they can have things called low season. And high season will definitely set you back many more miles than you want to spend. But the advantage is a lot of the major airlines, specifically in the United States and also around the world, are part of these alliances. So for example, US Airways is part of the Star Alliance, and if you go through their partners, redeeming your miles for their partner flights, it's a set price. Like it is for many of the airlines, they have one set price anywhere in the world. Each region has their own price no matter what time of year. So there's no high season, there's no low season. It's one set price, obviously depending on what region you want to go in, and it will save you a lot of miles in the long run.
Why wouldn't you recommend redeeming miles for a domestic ticket?
Yeah, well, this one is going to save you. You talk about saving miles and saving money. This one is going to save you. Yeah, you're going to be spending more miles to go further away outside of the United States. As we all know, the famous 25,000 miles for a domestic ticket. Just as an example, if you wanted to fly on American Airlines to go to what they call their region of India subcontinent, it'll cost you about 90,000 miles. Now, sure, that's about 3 to 4 times the amount of miles that you would need to fly in a coach to anywhere in the United States. But if you look at the price, going to, let's say you want to go to Thailand, that ticket could cost you $1,200, $1,500, depending on where you're going, $2,000 if you're really going in the peak of travel season. So that's looking at about 10 to 20 times the cost of a ticket that you would pay domestically to go internationally, but in the miles category, you're only paying 3 or 4 times. So you're really seeing a benefit of saving your miles and definitely saving your money.
Is it really worth saving up until I have enough miles to fly in business or first class?
Well, it's the same idea of, how many dollars more is it going to cost you and how many miles more is it going to cost you. So in this example, we'll try and spread it around with the different airlines. Let's say you've got United Air miles and you want to fly from Washington and you want to go to Beijing. So that's what they call North Asia. If you're looking at a ticket in dollar value, it'll cost you about $1,500 to go in coach. It'll cost you about $6,000 to go in business, and it'll cost you a whopping $13,000 or more to go in first class. If you look at the miles side of it, it's only going to cost you 50,000 miles to go in coach, 80,000 miles to go in business, or 100,000 miles to go in first. So again, you're seeing double the amount of miles to go from business to go from coach to go to first class. But if you look at the dollar value, that's from $1,500 to over $13,000. That is a huge jump. So if you have the miles, or you have a few extra months or years to save up to get into a first class ticket, it's definitely worthwhile. Certainly worthwhile to go in business, but if you really want to get that extra good treatment, it's definitely worth it to save up to go to first.
What's this whole stopover thing I hear about?
Yeah, a lot of the airlines will offer you the ability to have what's called a stopover. What that is it's basically an extra destination, extra vacation that you might want to take. So say you have an extra few days, we'll use this Washington to Beijing example. Let's say you have an extra few days and you want to go check out Hong Kong for a weekend or a week, because generally there's no real time constraint. So if you want to add that stop, they're not going to charge you any more miles. So that same 100,000 in first or 50,000 in coach, that's the same amount, whether you're going to Beijing and right home or if you want to go to Hong Kong also. The downside is if you're paying for that ticket with money, whether you do the coach, the business, the first class, they're going to charge you more because you have an extra flight. So it might be an extra 15%, 30%, could be an extra 50% depending on where that stopover is. So having that ability, if you have the time, definitely save up your vacation days because it's very worthwhile to throw that in there.
Thanks, Ari. Very helpful.
No problem. Thanks for having me.